Welcome to the beautiful Athabasca Glacier in Jasper National Park, Alberta. Today we will be exploring a nourishing Vinyasa style yoga practice to help us open up the hips, the heart space, and release any stored or stagnant emotions that we might be holding on to. When you're ready, I invite you to find a comfortable seated position. You might like to place one palm on the belly, the other on the heart space. Maybe closing the eyes. And gifting yourself this opportunity to recognize the courage and the strength that you have demonstrated showing up here today, getting on your mat, honoring your practice. Afford yourself a moment to tune into the breath. Notice the manifestation of your respiration today, knowing that there's no need to try and change anything. There's no need to control the breath in any way. Simply becoming aware and letting go. On your next inhale, raising the arms skywards, joining the palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. From here, we'll take a spinal twist, twisting the torso to the right. Perhaps tenting up onto your right fingertips behind you, maybe gazing behind that right shoulder. Pressing the outer edge of your left palm into the right thigh. With every inhalation, seeing if you can lengthen the spinal column. And with every exhalation, seeing if you can twist a little further. Being mindful to keep both sits bones grounded to the earth. One more loving breath. Inhale, center. Exhale, taking the twist on the other side, finding your variation. Tuning into the subtleties of your own experience. One more mindful breath. Inhale, center. Well done. From here, we'll turn to face the short edge of the mat. Coming into diamond pose, resting the sits bones atop of the heels. From here, we'll interlace our fingers together behind the back, extending the arms, broadening across the heart space, and guiding the bind round to the left. Exhale, lower the right ear to the right shoulder. You might like to create some half circles with the head and the neck, moving from shoulder to shoulder. Inhale, re-extend the arms, gaze up, and this time guiding the bind round to the other side. Feeling a beautiful release around the neck, perhaps the shoulders. Re-extend the arms, gaze up. Great job. From here, we'll cactus the arms out wide and begin to come into a variation of a seated cat and cow, joining the forearms together, rounding the spine. Inhale, open, gaze up. Exhale, gaze down. Once more. Nice work. From here, coming onto all fours in a tabletop position, Balmanasana. Separating the knees slightly will guide the hips to the heels, child's pose. Extending the arms out in front. And for a more active variation, you might like to tent up onto your fingertips, keeping the arms elevated. breathing into the back body. Inhale, tabletop. Tuck the toes under, ground down through the hands, downward facing dog, Ardha Hanumanasana. It might feel nice to pedal out the dog here, bending one knee at a time, straightening the other, feeling a beautiful release for the outer hips, and in your own time finding stillness. Pressing down through the fingertips, in particular the index fingers and the thumbs, to really help support the wrists here. Gaze is between the feet. Slight tuck of the chin towards the chest to really help lengthen the back of the neck. Separating the shoulder blades, seeing if you can create space between the shoulders and the earlobes. Breathe. From here, engaging the core and beginning to walk your feet towards the top of the mat, coming into a forward fold, bending the knees. Planting the palms down on the earth. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, extending the legs. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Twice more, flowing at your rhythm. Keeping the knees bent, mindfully rolling up into mountain pose, raising the arms overhead and floating the arms down by your side, reconnecting with the breath. From here, we'll take a variation of a sun salutation. Exhale, palms together at heart center. Inhale, raise the arms overhead, gaze up. Exhale, forward fold, plant the palms down. Inhale, step the right leg back, bend the knee, tent up onto the fingertips, gaze up. Plant the palms down, tuck the back toes under, plank pose. Drop the knees, Ashtanga Namaskar. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Tuck the toes under, exhale, downward facing dog. Right leg forward, lower the back knee, point the toes, head up, chest up. Tuck the toes under, step the left foot up to meet the right. Inhale, raise. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the palms on the earth, step the left leg back, lower the knee, point the toes, head up, chest up. Plant the palms down, plank pose, Valakasana, lower the knees, 8-limbed staff pose. Press up into cobra. Exhale, press back into downward facing dog. Well done. Left knee forward, lower the right knee down, head up, chest up, lengthen the spine. Step the right foot up to meet the left, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, arch the back. Exhale, lower the palms to heart center. Great job. Gifting yourself one breath here in mountain pose. Joining the palms together, raising the left knee to hip height. We'll mindfully hinge the hips forwards as we guide that leg back, coming into Warrior One Virabhadrasana. The left heel is in, the toes are out on an angle. Seeing if you can create a 90-degree angle with that right leg and the surface beneath you. Squaring the hips. Pivoting to the left, we'll come into Warrior Two. This time the arms are extended at shoulder height. Hips are squared, keeping the hips aligned with the shoulders. And this time the back foot is relatively parallel with the short edge of the mat. Coming into Peaceful Warrior, guiding the back arm down the back leg, raising the front arm overhead, sinking the hips, feeling a beautiful stretch for the torso. And from here, transitioning into extended side angle. You might like to raise both arms together, lengthening the torso. Maybe coming into a bind as you guide your front arm underneath the front leg, interlacing your fingers together behind the back. Noticing if the hips start creeping up, seeing if you can sink them down towards the earth. From here, lowering the right arm onto the earth, extending the right leg, raising the left arm skywards, twisting to the left, triangle pose, Trikonasana. And we'll come into bound triangle, interlacing your fingers together behind your back, guiding the right arm underneath the right leg, doing your best to keep the torso opened, broadening across the heart space. Mindfully release. Pivoting slightly to the front as we come into revolved pyramid pose. Hips are squared, legs are extended, feeling a beautiful stretch for the hamstrings, right arm is skywards. Breathe. Mindfully release, step into plank pose, exhale, downward facing dog, well done. Reconnecting with the breath. Inhale, roll forwards, coming through into plank pose. Engage the core. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Ardha Hanumanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Breathe. Raising the heels up off the mat, engaging the core, we'll begin to walk our feet towards the top of the mat, taking as many steps as you would like, bending the knees, Uttanasana. Inhale, extending the arms, extending the back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold, twice more. Know that you always have the option to place your fingertips on your shins and keep the knees bent the entire time to find a little bit more of a gentle variation. From here, rolling up into Tadasana. Gifting yourself a moment to reconnect with the breath. Channel your inner strength, your inner courage. Palms at heart center. Raise the right knee to hip height. Hinge the torso forwards as you guide that right leg back, coming into Warrior One on the other side. Is it possible to lower the hips a little more? Sink into this posture whilst engaging the inner thighs to help protect the pelvic ball. Breathe. Inhale, pivot to the right, setting up for Warrior Two. Doing your best to keep the front knee, the left knee in line with the ankle. I'm really pressing down through the blade edge of that right foot to help stabilize you here. Finding your focus. From here, peaceful warrior, gliding the right arm down the right leg, extending the left arm overhead. Breathing into the side ribs. Inhale, Warrior Two as a transition, and we'll come into extended side angle, either keeping your left arm on your left thigh or extending both arms, really turning on the glutes here, the adductors as well to support you. And maybe you'd like to come into a bind, guiding the left arm underneath the left thigh, perhaps interlacing your fingers together behind the back, opening the heart space, unclenching the jaw. One more breath. Lowering the left palm down on the inner seam of that left leg, coming up into triangle pose, or perhaps tenting up onto the fingertips or resting your left palm atop of the shin. either staying in Trikonasana or joining us in a bound triangle, perhaps shortening the stance slightly, guiding the left arm onto the left leg, and again interlacing your fingers together behind the back. Feeling a beautiful release around the quadratus lumbar, perhaps the outer hips and the hamstrings. Breathe. And from here, stepping back into plank pose and downward facing dog. One breath here. Inhale, roll through into plank pose. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Ardha Hanumanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Breathe. Grounding down through the left leg. Inhale, float the right leg up, three-legged dog. Ekapada Adho Mukha Svanasana. Bend the right knee, guide the right knee forwards, placing the right foot on the outer edge of that right hand. Coming into lizard posture, Utthan Pristhasana. Perhaps lowering down onto the forearms. Maybe rolling onto the blade edge of that right foot, opening up the hip. And knowing that you can always drop that back knee down if you'd like a little bit more of the relaxing variation. If you are on your forearms, re-extending the arms, lowering the back knee down, flexing the back foot, guiding it towards the glutes, and using your right palm to grab a hold of that foot, coming into a beautiful quad stretch. Guiding the hips towards the earth, breathing into any regions of the body where you're feeling sensation. Mindfully release, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. Going on the other side. Inhale, float the left leg up, three-legged dog. One breath here. And bend the knee, guide the knee to the chest, and we'll set up for lizard pose on the other side. Taking any modifications that feel nourishing, find what feels good. Listen to your inner guidance system today. From here, lowering the back knee down, flexing the knee, guiding the heel to the glutes, and using the left palm to grab a hold of that right foot. Feeling a beautiful stretch. Mindfully release, and again we'll meet in downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll roll through in a spinal wave, coming into upward facing dog. Exhale, push the hips up and back, downward facing dog, and again. Keeping the arms extended, keeping the legs and the pelvis elevated. The toes are tucked the entire time. One more round. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. This is our last down dog, so offer yourself this moment to go deep into the stretch. Allow yourself to surrender. Great job, mindfully lowering the knees to the earth, pointing the toes, sinking the hips back to the heels, child's pose. Noticing where you are holding tension and seeing if you can soften. Seeing if you can be okay with the experiences that are unfolding. Inhale, tabletop, tenting up onto the fingertips, guiding the right knee towards the chest, placing the foot down between the palms. Inhale, float the arms up, low crescent moon, Anjaneyasana. One breath here. Exhale, twist the torso to the right, extending the arms out at shoulder height, separating the fingers, gazing back, keeping the hips squared. And if you'd like a deeper variation, guiding the right palm onto the left calf muscle, extending the left arm overhead, feeling a beautiful heart opener and a back bend. Inhale, extend both arms, gazing forwards, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, shift the hips back, Ardha Hanumanasana, extending that front leg. And folding forwards the top of that leg, keeping the front foot flexed. Knowing that it's always okay to keep a micro bend in that leg. If this is at all uncomfortable for you, you could always place a little towel under that right heel. Returning to tabletop, and we'll go on the other side, tenting up onto the fingertips, engaging the abdomen, and this time placing the left foot between the palms. Inhale, float the arms up, Anjaneyasana. Feeling a beautiful stretch for the hips. Exhale, twisting the torso to the left, gazing back, spreading your wingspan. Breathe. Either staying here or going deeper as you guide that left palm onto the right calf, raising the right arm overhead. Breathe. Inhale, Anjaneyasana, one breath here. Exhale, half split, Ardha Hanuman, square off the hips, extend that left leg, engage the quadriceps, and allow yourself to melt entirely on top of that leg, maybe lowering down onto the forearms if that's in your practice. Breathe. Well done. Mindfully returning to tabletop, sinking the hips towards the heels, child's pose. You've made it. Congratulate yourself on arriving in this moment. Allow yourself to soften. Allow yourself to become supple. Breathe. Inhale, gently rise up into a seated position. You might like to join me in Sukhasana, crossing the legs, perhaps closing the eyes, rolling the shoulders back. And we'll close practice placing one palm on the belly, the other on the heart space. Feeling your body, feeling the breath, honoring the preciousness of this very moment. The light and the teacher in me honors and salutes the light and the teacher in each and every one of you. May you all experience true peace and joy. Namaste.